Everton had a very strong start into the season and had now a big win also here at Anfield, and from there kept the momentum again going. Very strong squad, very, very physical, full of talent, strong strikers, dangerous number 10 with James, strong experienced players, super strong manager at the sideline with Carlo, who knows how to keep a momentum going, how to keep the flow going. It's like I said, it's good that these games are on, and it's good that we have a next big match, because that drives us, that gets us out of bed early, and then it's a very natural process to be at our top level again, because you don't need many words. The situation is very clear and does not change. And we will need the next top level performance to be able to win, and this is what we are up for at Stamford Bridge.
I think that we can compete against Chelsea. Will be difficult, we know, but because Chelsea is a fantastic team, but we can compete. I think we have 12 tests until the end of the season. This is the first one against Chelsea that is fighting for that position, but there are a lot of teams involved there, and a lot of strong team.
So as ever, use the hashtag #PLFans to get in touch with us and send in your questions and videos for our expert panel. Let's get to our fans for this week. First up, we've got Helga from Norway.
With Everton's recent away form and with the experience of Carlo Ancelotti, how likely is it that Carlo can guide Everton into a top 4 this season?
Well, this is the real battle, isn't it, to get these European places now? How likely is it that Everton can do it?
Top 4, listen, this unprecedented season, they have a chance, because if Calvert-Lewin's not scoring, Richarlison can nick a goal, as proven in midweek. Defensively, they're good. Can they do it? You know, Alan and Decore midfield. They've got some good players, James. Can they do it? I just don't think they can, Jules.
Really?
I don't think they can. Why, though? Why can't they do it? They've got a great manager. Is it because it's Everton? Do you know what I mean? And they never seem to get in that top. David Moyes done it last, didn't he? But they're a point off it. And the game in hand.
Yep.
Oh, Julian.
Yeah, I think they can do it. Of course they can, because the points.
But will they?
Yeah, will they? Is a different question.
That's the question.
That's can they?
Will they?
Will they? I don't know. The biggest compliment I can pay them is if they do, it won't surprise me. They would have earned the right to be there. The start they've had, the way they've recruited the players, they've got the manager, the way he's set up in certain games, and they have a different identity for each fixture, which is not the case for every other team. So I'm expecting them to go there and be hard to beat, but still be a threat, which is great. And
only City and Leicester have won more games this season.
I think the other side of it's important. You look at the losses column, they've lost 8. They will always lose a game.
You'd rather win or lose than draw.
But that's true, of course, mathematically. But they'll always lose a few games that you don't expect. I think that's the thing with Everton. They're capable of highs that didn't seem possible at the start of the season, but they'll always lose a couple of games you don't expect. Although, having said that, the game at West Brom that they could have easily lost, they did squeeze a win out of.
The game against Liverpool, the 2-0 win, do you think that has made them believe they can do it this year?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Because it wasn't just a lucky win.
No.
It was convincing in every aspect of the game. So that will give them massive confidence going into this game against Chelsea. But as I said, it's not going to be easy. Both managers tactically are very good and set up their teams to beat the opposition. I know that may sound simple, but they see chinks in other teams' armour and think, well, this is our best way to exploit that. So it'll be a good game to watch.
Yeah, it will be. All right, let's next up hear from Mirav in India, who's a Chelsea fan.
So do you think Pulisic should start instead of coming on as a sub to bring a little bit more effect and help Chelsea win the game? Because last time we did lose against Everton, so hopefully we can. And they're actually a very big challenger for us in the top 4 race. So do you think Pulisic should start against Everton?
Well, Thomas Tuchel has the benefit of such a fantastic squad at Chelsea, doesn't he? And because of that, and coming in when Christian Pulisic had an injury, he's only started 1 game, I believe, since Tuchel has taken over. Should he start this game?
Well, but the thing is, has he earned his place? Because unbeaten, Tuchel, so much strength in depth. Look at Mason Mount's performances. You know, should he start? I really don't know. It's down to the manager. In minutes played, you know, the science, you know, who's in the red zone, all this. Is it a game he thinks he could play, Pulisic? Andy, what do you think? I have no idea.
I would be surprised if he started, though there'll always be rotations you don't expect when the programme's this intense. I think what is clear is that the vast majority of that squad is ready to play at the moment, which I think is really important. And what really impresses me about Tuchel, I mean, he's done a lot of the things you would expect so far. He's very good at communicating his ideas to players quickly, and everyone seemed on board with it very quickly as well. What's so impressive, though, I think you look at the individual coaching, and you look particularly at that game at Anfield last night, and if they're going into a game at Anfield with Christensen and Rudiger in 3 months ago, you're thinking, no way, they're not getting a result out of that. But underachieving players who've got more to give, have given that bit more under Tuchel, and I think that's really a triumph of the way he manages to communicate with those players.
But why is that then, do you think? Because surely players should give to every manager everything they've got.
No, I don't think it's a deliberate choice. I think it's about he makes players think about stuff in a different way. He's an innovative coach with a lot of new ideas, and I think this is almost the easy part. At the beginning, when you're getting fresh ideas across to players who aren't winning, I think that makes a massive difference. But I think that you look at that defence at the beginning of the season and you think it stands or falls on whether Thiago Silva's about, and that's no longer the case, which is a huge step forward for them.
Yeah, that's huge, isn't it? Let's go to social media for our final question today. We asked you guys to send in your questions, and Elton on Twitter says, what do you think about Tammy Abraham's future at Chelsea?
I think he's kind of made it known that he's not convinced he wants to sign a new contract. Obviously, players want to play, and Tammy's had an experience of playing. He's been on loan, he's done the hard yards, lower leagues, he's came back to Chelsea, he's performed, he hasn't necessarily played bad.
No.
And he just, for whatever reason, he hasn't been given an opportunity under Tuchel. So, do I see him being there long term? I don't, to be honest. I see him having to go away, and we've seen that in the past. I'm sure Chelsea would love to have Lukaku right now, but he had to go elsewhere and kind of...
Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, Salah. Like, they've had to do that a number of times, and it would be slightly naive of Chelsea to just think we don't need a Tammy Abraham. He's proven that he can score goals, so I'd like to see him stick around, but I don't see it happening.
Andy, what's the situation with Giroud then at Chelsea now? Because a few months ago we were talking about him potentially leaving in January. Thomas Tuchel's now taken over, and it looks as though he does have a place in this Chelsea team going forward. Do you think that's played a part in maybe Tammy Abraham's decision?
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it. And I think really if you're Giroud, do you really want to go to a club where you're going to play every week? I wonder if you want to spare your efforts a little bit, get picked for important games for Chelsea, still be part of a huge club where you're a really important part of the squad, where you're really valued. He's looking at that France goals record as well. So I think to have a little bit in the tank, but to still play at a really high level, that's going to help you. But I think in terms of Tammy Abraham, the other question with him, what do they do medium term with Kai Havertz? Because Kai Havertz has not really been given a spot, which is extraordinary, really, when you think how much money they've spent on him. It doesn't seem like there's been a plan for him. He can play at centre forward, and he can play as a number 9 as well. So if that's long-term plan for him, that puts a doubt over Tammy Abraham.
So hypothetically then, transfer windows opens right now, would Giroud go to Leicester?
I had a feeling that would come up.
No.
Tell you what,
Arsenal. I know. Go to Arsenal.
You'd play even less behind Jamie Vardy, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I know a team that will take Tammy Abraham, though. Need a goal scorer, right? All right, we've taken you around all of our featured games. Let's bring you up to speed with what else is going on up and down the division as we head around the grounds.